Well, Ottawa is taking new measures to tackle housing affordability, and CTV's Judy Trinh is following the Liberal caucus retreat. Joins us live this morning with all the details here. Judy, good to see you. Just yesterday, you were speaking to one of Justin Trudeau's caucus members who admitted even on a pretty decent, MP salary, she can't afford her own home. This is a problem that hits widespread across the country.
That's right. This is a government clearly under pressure from its caucus as well as from its constituents to do more and to do something quickly. What we are hearing from a senior government source is that effective immediately, the Trudeau government will announce that it is going to drop the GST on the construction of new rental apartments. So this will allow developers to not have to pay that 5% when it comes to materials as well as services, in hopes of spurring construction as well as decreasing rent prices and housing prices overall. So this comes one day after the government's announcement that it was rolling out funds from its acceleration fund for housing. However, we found out that it was a fund that was in the pipes for 2022, but took 18 months to roll out. So this government has been under fire for delaying action, and this is another step. But Jamie, I should point out to you that everything new, everything old is new again. This was actually a Liberal policy plank back in 2015, but they dropped that campaign policy plank in 2017, saying that there were better ways to spur the growth of affordable housing. So obviously they are returning to their campaign promises, drawing from those ideas. So effective immediately, developers, construction companies will not have to pay GST on building new apartment rentals.
That's pretty significant, and that is something a lot of advocates have been pushing for, Judy, for a couple of months now. We've spoken to several of them right here. So, in the meantime, have the Liberals said what that could cost the coffers or where they may make up the difference? Because, of course, if you're not getting that HST revenue, that leaves the government short on another side.
Right. We are going to get those details later on today. They are going to call a news conference for this later this afternoon. So we will ask those questions. But what I can tell you is that this government wants to implement plans fast and without actually causing more pressures on the economy. This is an announcement that does not involve new money, just like yesterday's announcement does not involve new money. It involves affordability in terms of creating new incentives and using the money they already have. You have to understand, Jamie, already this government says it's in a period of austerity. It is going to focus its funds on the priorities. Minister Anita Anand, was asked about the Treasury Board cuts. She's doing $15 billion in cuts across the public sector. And some of those funds, she said, will be directed towards priorities. One of those priorities will be housing. So they are looking for money that they can access quickly and incentives they can put in place quickly to boost affordability.
It's interesting too, Judy, because the sudden urgency here appears to be in stark contrast with the Prime Minister kind of saying maybe within about the last month or so that, housing isn't really necessarily a federal responsibility, but it appears the Liberal caucus seemed kind of concerned, really, I would say, about the new national, or the most recent national poll numbers, putting Pierre Poilievre double digits ahead. What are you hearing from the MPs there, whether on camera or off camera, about how much of a priority this is for the Liberals?
Well, they are slipping in the polls, right? And they say they are not responding to polls. They're responding to the needs of Canadians. But you know what? This is making an impact. Pierre Poilievre spent the summer traveling across the country, and he is connecting with Canadians on those issues in a way that Trudeau and his inner circle have not. We heard from one member today, Andy Fillmore, an MP in the Halifax area, and what he said is that the MP, the Prime Minister, has promised to be more attentive to and listen to the caucus. So there is this sense that they perhaps were not getting the groundswell of frustration that was out there, but now they are turning the track, and they are actually making this concerted effort to be more in tune with the grassroots, the local levels, because that is where the frustration is percolating up. And I should point out to you that the housing strategy is shifting shifting. It used to be just focused on low-income, vulnerable populations, housing those populations. But now it's like, no, we are also going to focus, broaden our strategy, also focus on middle class. Because as you know, it's this lack of housing, high rent, high home prices. It's affecting everyone across the board.
It certainly is. Okay, CTV's Judy Trinh joining us live from London. Judy, appreciate this. Thanks so much for the time today.